Hello and welcome to The Mandalorian on Crazy Hank TV, and this is the Chapter 2, The Child. The Child. Do we know who the child is?
I think we pretty much know who
we think it's Baby Yoda. And before I go on, let me just say I'm joined by future Hall of Fame podcaster Matt from Owen and Beru's Barbecue.
I just go by Suka now. I am the Eggman, cuckoo, cuckoo.
You are the egg. You know, you've been singing that Eggman song for about a month now.
Well, the Watchmen. We've been watching Watchmen, so
it's all about eggs.
There's a lot of egg stuff happening, right? So,
and we have Dean Spanos has joined us in the chat, so that's pretty cool.
Oh, I didn't know that we had chat. I'm not on that part, so.
Well, we're live. We're
What's happening?
I mean, I was lucky enough last week to join Owen and Beru's Barbecue podcast on the Jane Jack Podcasting Network. I'll post a link to that in the show notes, which I thought was your best podcast you guys have ever done.
I thought we were in a little slump because Chris, he said some things. Now, at the time, I didn't, say like, look, man, you're wrong about this. But I was also kind of wondering, like, well, was he an extra in an episode that I'm missing or lost?
Well, that's because I think he asked me the question, right? Or did he ask us both?
I mean, it's just out there on the show. So, and
I was out there going, I don't know. And he goes, lost. I go, okay, maybe he was in that extra, but I knew it was Billy D. Williams.
Well, I mean, that was the thing. I was like, well, but they had Lando. They didn't have, Carl, right?
Yeah, Carl Weathers.
Yeah, Carl Weathers. I always want to call him Carl Withers, like Werther's original.
Well, Carl Weathers played his college football at San Diego State University. There's your San Diego. You always got a San Diego connection in there.
You got to bring in that San Diego.
And Dean said he's moving this podcast to England. Well, Dean, this is more like a vidcast. But anyway, are you ready to get cracking on the? And JP's in the chat too.
Oh, nice. How do I get into this?
Oh, now he just left. I'm here alone because Matt just kicked himself out. So I'm looking stupid as I'm saying this. Let me just say this though. I am loving this show. And here comes Matt back. So I didn't realize I was gonna have to live.
I will not try to get out of this to get into the chat, but somehow I'll try to figure out what's happening in the chat. So I went to click the login and then I just lost everything. And I was like, yeah, screw it. I'm not.
Is your voice a little off too? Because now all of a sudden your voice is off too.
My voice is off?
I feel like I'm watching Godzilla. Yeah, I'm not.
Oh. I'm sorry.
We're live, folks. We're live. But I want to thank you while you're here because you're kind of the one that told me to watch it.
I thought you liked it.
You kind of convinced me to watch it.
Yeah.
The Western theme and everything. And because I would like it anyway because it's Star Wars. But I was probably, I'll watch it when I get to it. But I love it. I mean, these first two episodes have been fantastic as far as I'm concerned.
I thought, and I have some guesses as to some of the things that you'd like about this episode, but where do we begin? What do you want to talk about?
I think we begin at the beginning. You got the Mandalorian is walking back with Baby Yoda, and he doesn't have to push a crib, doesn't have to push a stroller. I mean, he's got the
tether?
Is that what it is? I don't know. He's just floating along. What do they call it? A floating crib or floating stroller?
Floating egg.
Now, you have kids. Wouldn't you like to have had that when you were a kid?
Especially with the wristband, where you can just like pull them along. Like that's great.
Or you can just shut it off, right? You just close them all up and say, "I don't want to listen to you scream anymore."
That was a nice trick. So,
but I just thought that was cool. I mean, he's walking. You got Baby Yoda, and I'm going to agree with a lot of people out there that think Baby Yoda is cute. Because adult Yoda, of course, he was like 900 years old, right?
Right.
He was he was an old man, so it's hard to judge him. But he was green and wrinkled, and bald. Just had a few strands of hair.
Yeah.
But Baby Yoda is cute.
I'm kind of wondering what his middle ages looked like. Now, Yoda, like Was he like the Harrison Ford of his day? You know,
Could be.
Yeah. But no, you know who also likes Baby Yoda? My daughter, who, when the first trailers kind of came out, she was like, I don't know if I'm going to watch this show, you know, because it is a lot more like it was tailored to be more of a gritty Western kind of drama. But as opposed to there being like some female heroine for her to root for, she's now rooting for Baby Yoda. So she's all in.
But now, do you think the Baby Yodas are going to be on the market before Christmas?
I don't. I maybe this is like a December blitz as they just pop out all these Baby Yodas, but I could see it. I don't think of that show as that marketing aspect yet. I'm just enjoying it for what it is.
But it is Disney, you know, not to knock Disney, but it is Disney.
Sure.
If you've ever been to Disneyland, Disney World, you can't get off a ride without going into one of their shops.
There are definitely going to be Baby Yoda toppers for, like, you know, drinks and all of those things. I mean, like, so.
4-way flashes on comics says Teen Yoda's not pretty, braces and acne.
If it's anything like Teen Groot. Okay, there my fan went off. So I apologize. I tried to put up a little sound barrier here, but I am in my basement with the furnace, so it's every now and then.
Well, it looks like you got a fire behind you, so
I'm warming myself behind one of my paintings. So
well, then we go and he's walking through this like canyon area, and there's like lizard creatures going around. Do they have names? Do we know if their names are just like lizard creatures?
I did not see any names, but they are
okay. Because there wasn't. If you look at the cast in this episode, it's like 3 or 4 people. Mm-hmm. That's all it's listed. Because there's no dialogue like for the first 10 minutes, which is amazing that a show can keep your interest without any dialogue. I thought it was fantastic.
I think it's also a credit to the music as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Because it carries you along. Like if this was just dead space, I mean, I don't know. It's Star Wars. I'm sure if they just put in techno music, I'd probably still watch it. But there's something about the soundtrack, though, that carries you through those scenes.
But could it be like because I know on your podcast I said he reminds me of the Mandalorian reminds me of Clint Eastwood's character, the man with no name. Mm-hmm. He when he's on the screen, you're totally focused on the Mandalorian, on what he's doing.
True.
I mean, it's like a larger than life presence. So mm-hmm. that could be a lot to do it. But then he senses that something's going on. Now, you would know more of the history of the Mandalorian. Is that part of their? They have this sixth sense that they can sense danger, or did Baby Yoda play something into it?
I don't know. There's a lot to think about with Baby Yoda and how much the Force is connected to this creature just naturally. Because I thought it was showcasing the fact that all life is attracted to this Baby Yoda. You know, like these lizards are following, you know, almost underneath and behind. But they do scatter right before the Transdoshians attack.
Is that who they were, the Transdoshians?
That's the race of their people, I guess.
Okay,
so,
all right.
The lizard people, basically, is all you have to kind of know. But Bosk is one of the most kind of like famous amongst those Transdoshians to appear in Empire Strikes Back. So back-to-back episodes, we've had references to the Empire Strikes Back. You had IG-88 looking droid in the first one, Bosk in this one. The Mandalorian is obviously like a kind of a Boba Fett, so to speak, but he's not Boba Fett, so don't even bring up Boba Fett.
No, I didn't think he was, but I saw there was questions if he was or not. And I go, I didn't think he was.
I think they've been pretty firm about that
yeah,
this is not about Boba Fett. And I think in a lot of ways it diffuses the mystique of Boba Fett, and you can kind of create your own story because we already kind of know a lot about Boba Fett. It's actually kind of more interesting that you're bringing in somebody else that's Mandalorian, because there's been a lot of other Mandalorian people that have been presented throughout the Star Wars cartoons, but this is, you know, there's a nice rich mythos to dive into with that alone.
Bill says, are they like Sleestaks from
They do.
Land
They
of the
kind of-
that was Land of the Lost, right?
Yeah, Land of the Lost. They do kind of remind me of Silly Stacks. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
And then JP had a comment. "Oh, it's okay, Matt. Early adult Yodas still live in their mom's basements too."
what is that, like 400?
That would be about 400. I do like the fight scene though. It's pretty good. He's got what are 3 of them attacking him?
Yeah, 3,
and he's fighting them off, and he's doing a great job. And then one goes towards Baby Yoda, and he's having none of that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is he saving Baby Yoda because that's his reward, right? That's his bounty.
It is his reward.
Or is he finally just, I gotta save the kid? He's a cute kid. I gotta save him.
I like that duality, because I think we'll find out probably maybe in the next episode he might be attacked by some people along the way. Who knows what? But I think there's part of him that is still like, yeah, I'm turning in this for a reward. I mean, he hasn't seen anything magical except for the fact that it's a child, which I think breaks through a little bit of that scar armor. Is this that the fact that it is a child?
Because we talked about last week on your podcast about how he had the flashbacks. You see him as a kid and how he was obviously there was a lot of.
He's an orphan, much like this child.
Right,
he's an orphan. So,
because Yoda said, "I'm not claiming this kid. I'm out of here."
It's not my kid. Well, I mean, it's fun with this because at this point, it's very open, and I like that about the story because we don't have we're not seeing the villain's plans, right? We don't know what they know, and it's just kind of unfolding as it's opening up to us.
Well, obviously the people that wanted him know his powers,
right?
Because I'm thinking as we watch him trying to fix the Mandalorian trying to fix his wound, Baby Yoda keeps coming out of the crib, the stroller, whatever you want to call it, and trying to fix him, and he keeps putting him back.
Mm-hmm.
So he must not know his powers.
I don't think so. I don't think he knows what that Baby Yoda is trying to do at that moment.
Yeah, he just it's not nice to point. That's what he was saying.
That part was so cute too, to see the Baby Yoda like squinting and just really trying its hardest. So, but clearly, I think maybe that. And what do you call it? The child is looking at the Mandalorian thinking like, oh, this person is here to protect me and has saved me. So I must.
Yeah, because he obviously, I didn't think about it. Baby Yoda has no idea, or does he know?
He's connected. We don't know if it's a she or he, but it's
because he knows he obviously has the power of the Force,
right? Yeah.
So does he? Maybe he does know.
I think he knows a little bit. I kind of even wondered at the very beginning of at the end of the last episode of that Baby Yoda wasn't maneuvering people to protect him from being attacked.
Yeah. So
manipulating those other warriors that were around that compound.
Yeah. And then they continue their way towards his ship, his Razor Crest. But it's being ransacked by the what are they called? Jawas. Jawas.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I'm struggling with that Jawas, but he's not happy about that. He blasts a couple and kills a couple of them, but they jump in their what is that called? Their big
sandcrawler.
And he's just not happy. But I thought it brought up a great scene. I saw someone said I've seen people say it reminded me of Indiana Jones.
Yeah, mm-hmm. It did. I don't know why I didn't put that together. I mean, I've seen that scene 100 times, but yeah.
Yeah, I saw it on like 3 or 4 because I was doing some research on this episode just to try and get all the names down, but I couldn't find Sandcrawler. I don't know why.
They play that action sequence out similarly also in the Solo movie. Chewie's about ready to hit a rock, kind of like that,
Yeah, that's true.
But I do remember the tank scene though, and where he's like kind of on the tank and he has to roll up like that. Yeah.
Right. Geek's Dad Life said that was interesting that Mando. I didn't know you could abbreviate it. Mando doesn't know the history of Yoda.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, doesn't know the history of Yoda.
I'm not in speaking terms with him, so I'm going to call him Mandalorian until he tells me I can call him Mando.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about Geek Dad Life.
No, I'm talking about the Mandalorian. I'm not messing with him. He's a tough guy. But I just thought it was a great scene. They're going. He's trying to stop them. They're throwing junk at him and throwing things at him, and they finally shoot him and knock him off and knocks him out, and he's laying there on the dirt. But Baby Yoda was following him the whole time.
Is that because of the tether? Like the tether in his wristband, because clearly
I didn't think about that.
So
You're
maybe
right.
there's a setting he could just be like beep, like stay 30 yards away, But that thinks it's his reward, and I will say, I mean, while I was watching it, I kept thinking like, why don't you put the baby in a safe place? But that baby's everything.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't leave. It would not leave your sight. So.
Now again, he's tethered to it, but it's Yoda. It's Baby Yoda, and we've seen he has the power of the Force. Couldn't he have just snapped the tether, broke the? Couldn't he gone like this?
Like destroy the device, and so
yeah.
Good question, Jack. You bring up some hard
again, but like you said, is Baby Yoda thinking he's protecting him?
Mm-hmm.
Or does he actually know what is behind the plans? Or does he know that deep down, the Mandalorian is going to protect him from the people that want him?
I think we have to approach the child like a child and think that in terms of they know this much and that's it. So I think the child sees the Mandalorian. I mean, I don't think this 50-year-old kid is that Machiavellian. Maybe, I don't know.
All right, I'm just thinking there's got to be, because he's a Yoda. He's Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
It's not like our kids where they just spit up on themselves the whole time. I mean,
I wanted to and I kind of wondered if you liked this episode because you babysit. You pop it.
I do. I have 4 grandkids. Geek's Dad's Life has 2 of my grandkids, unless that's a different Geek's Dad Life. I don't know, but so I have 4 grandkids, so it is cute. They are cute and fun to be around, but none of them do it. None of them would probably save me like Baby Yoda would if I had a mud hog trying to kill me. I'm just guess. Spoiler alert. We get further on.
Okay, so one of the things I wanted to make sure we talked about was those Jawas with red eyes. I mean, that was the thing to me. Like, I know your knowledge of Jawas is struggling with how to pronounce them.
Jawas, yes.
Jawas.
Jawas. It's crazy.
You think he named them Jawas because of Spielberg's Jaws? Like he's just like
I would think so, because I always want to say Jawas.
Yeah. Jawas.
I bet I'm sure it's probably in some Wikipedia page has that information.
Yeah, I'm sure you're right. But anyway, I'm going with the fact that these are my notes here.
Nice.
That these red-eyed Jawas are different because maybe there's one sun, or maybe this is a red sun and Tatooine's a yellow sun.
I was thinking maybe they just got a hold of some ganja.
That
made their eyes red, because that's the I think the probably the natural answer.
All natural. They've been doing way too much of that Suka.
Suka.
I mean, we don't know what's inside that yolk. I mean,
they were happy. They were happy. They gave up a lot of stuff for one egg.
I mean, but I also imagine that this is just how they kill off people that they don't like. Like, yeah, we want Suka. Go ahead.
Yeah. You go get us some Suka.
Mm-hmm.
But as they come back to Baby Yoda and the Mandalorian, or Mando, as his friends call him, come back to the ship. My first thought is, I go, okay, you're in this world where, the Empire's gone, but even when the Empire was around, you still had a lot of people that were criminals out there. They'd steal stuff. You have the Jawas who were out there stealing parts and stuff all the time. Wouldn't you have some kind of alarm on this ship? Like maybe where if they touch it, they get electrocuted. You just left your ship in the
True.
middle of nowhere.
Yeah. I think also too, we have to know that Mando really sucks at leaving passwords. It's basically 1, 2. I wonder if it's just Mando, but it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is what Chris pointed out.
Wow, maybe you're right.
So he's got bad passwords. I mean, we saw it. Is he just toying with that first victim, or is he just got bad? Like anyway.
Because they took a lot of stuff.
They did. They stripped it.
Because my first, I don't know about you when you're watching it. I was watching. Okay, he's gonna have to find another ship.
Mm-hmm.
This thing's done.
Right.
That's
kind of where
I didn't know he was gonna go back and make a deal with the egg thing, the Suka, and find. I just figured, okay, he's gonna have to. He'll go back to what's is it Killy?
Grief Karga?
No, not Grief Karga. Nick Nolte's character.
Kula?
Kula?
It's Quill, right?
I thought it was Quiil. Kill. I couldn't get Jawa. So how am I get Kill? So he goes back to Nick Nolte. We're going to call him Nick Nolte. He goes back to Nick Nolte. That's what I thought he was going to do and get a ship.
Right. Sure.
I didn't see this whole thing coming out where he would get a go work, with the Jawas coming back. But
I thought it was I liked how the action sequence played out. I liked all of the funny bits. I'm amazed at how much they fit into this episode and that they're keeping it as efficient as they are, but still giving us a lot of cool stuff. There was a scene. Well, first of all, we didn't even mention he's using disintegrations. So it's something that's referenced in Empire Strikes Back. Vader says to Boba Fett, no disintegration rays. He doesn't want anybody to just like disappear. That's what he was using on these people. We saw it on the Transocean. We saw it with the Jawas. They just. It was
he even said it on. He even said it. That was one of his lines in the episode. I was disintegrating. A couple of them.
That's right. He mentions it to Kill.
Because when killed, we forgot to mention too that Baby Yoda eats a frog.
Oh yes, I had that in my notes. That was actually my first note that
I think it was okay because it tastes like chicken.
I think it is, but where does he put it all?
I don't know because Mandalorian goes no, and he ate it anyway. You know how kids don't listen nowadays.
We see also a it's a R5D4. It looks like R5D4 in the scene where he's dealing with the Jawas to make the deal. And it was a cool like little shot, like when he uses the flamethrower, which is a callback to Jango Fett using a flamethrower. So the Jawas kind of separate, and you see this R5 in the background that looks exactly like the one from A New Hope. So I guess that's what I mean by how much.
Good catch there, Matt.
Thanks. Going for the.
That's why you're a future Hall of Fame podcaster.
Just going over what I noticed. So, and there's some things that I didn't get written down, and I keep researching. Like, oh, what is that cave thing called? So, he's got to go get the Suka.
Well, before that though, this is where the line comes. Nick Nolte says to Kuehl says to Nick Nolte. Kuehl says to the Mandalorian, he goes, "They don't seem to like you," and he goes, "I did incinerate a few of them."
That's right.
I thought it was a good line, but then then they're trying to work out a deal, and the armor where he says, "No." He wasn't up. He was pretty ticked off. He had to put down his weapons.
Yeah. He did make that line, which I just feel is going to be on a bunch of bumper stickers. A weapon is a part of my religion. It's like, ugh.
I think it's already a bumper sticker.
It probably is, but
I'm just throwing it out there. But then they negotiate. He said he threw some fire at him because he was ticked. He's not really. He's not. The Mandalorian's not a negotiator.
No.
Right? He's really, and then they wanted Yoda for a second, Baby Yoda, and he goes, "No, you're not getting Baby Yoda."
Well, worth way much more than, and those are his parts.
Right. Well, that's what he was mad about. He goes, "Why am I negotiating for you stole my parts?"
Right.
And then they brought up the egg, the suka. And he goes, okay.
Once you've tasted it, you can't go back. Your eyes go red.
Sucrack. But they take off. Baby Yoda and him go off looking for the egg. And then he fights to the death with a mud hog.
Yeah, Mudhorn.
Mudhorn, is that what it is? Mudhorn?
Mudhorn.
Where did I get hog at?
I was thinking cave rhino.
It did look like a rhino to me, so I guess Mudhorn was better. I thought it was a good fight scene. He was losing though. He was losing his butt off, and then you have Baby Yoda raises Mudhorn. Yeah, he raises him up, and again we realize that the Mandalorian or Mando doesn't know of Yoda's powers.
It did have a Cadbury kind of feel to it. By the way, if you ever get those hairy Cadbury eggs, like hairy eggs, that yolk is so pure.
Well, maybe the hair protects the yolk, right? Keeps it what golden? It was like golden. It was. It almost like the final scenes towards Lost.
I kind of wanted to see like a post where they're just all like laid back, like just so full on the suka, and there's one Jawa still fighting over like the scraps and licking it.
Oh, you should. I'm sure they fight to the death for the last scraps, because you could probably eat the egg too, right?
I think this goes with C-3PO's assertion that they're disgusting creatures.
Oh, this is Ethan. Ethan is the Yeti ball.
Oh.
Okay, well, nice for you to join us, Ethan. But I like the fight scene. Again, he takes the knife and he stabs him. He stabs him in the right place, and the Mudhorn dies.
It's like the jugular, basically.
Yeah, and he didn't, and he still doesn't realize because now Baby Yoda's out. He's taking a nap without a pacifier. He's just out. He's just sleeping.
Yes, that's right.
So now we know the key to getting your baby to go to sleep. Let them lift a Mudhorn.
Go out and do battle with a semi-truck.
And they'll sleep for like a day. It's great.
I wanted to mention about that cave scene real quick. There's real cool imagery there that as Mando enters the cave.
Oh, now you can call him Mando?
I can, because I've podcasted about this show at least once. So
okay.
If you look at the cave, it makes an eye. Like it almost looks like, it's an eye.
Oh.
That shape. So if you're just looking at the shadows, it makes like kind of like that arc, and even Mando himself is like the iris part of the eye. And then
what's the first thing we've seen when he goes
in?
It's an eye opens up.
Right. So I'm just saying it's there. It's really cool imagery though, the way they shot that, because they could have lit that a different way or done it, lots.
Well, the cinematography and then the way they've shot this has been top notch.
Mm-hmm.
The first two episodes have been. It's not cheesy at all. Eric said it looked like a brown eye to me.
I don't know what those look like.
Well, sometimes doesn't it make your brown eyes blue?
Well,
when you make your brown eyes.
Oh my gosh, I don't want to put that together with that Suka ball. But anyway, after he gets all the parts though, we actually get a serious montage. We joked about a montage
right
last week. This week we got the montage. So I assume they worked for like a solid week putting that thing back together.
Well, no, because he said it would take a few days.
Yeah.
The Mandalorian, you know what? I'm gonna call him Mando too. Mando said it would only take him this is gonna take a couple days. And of course, Nick Nolte says, "Hey, if you work with me,
if you quit talking about it,
and work and help me out, we can get this thing done." So they're working like crazy. And of course, Baby Yoda's still sleeping.
Yeah, Baby Yoda could have helped this thing along a lot.
Yeah, here, let me move this over here, And they put this ship that was completely destroyed. It looked brand new.
I just imagine somebody doing this to my truck and saying, "Until you get home, You have to stay here and put it back together. I would A, be pissed, and B, I would never fly that in space again. Like, I'd have somebody else check it before I went into space with it, let alone on the highway. Jeez.
Yeah, it was. I was a little skeptical. Again, I kept going to think, do you have a ship around here? I know you ride those were they gruels? What would
Blurgs.
Blurgs. I mean, I know they ride the blurgs. Nick Nolte does, but I'm thinking, would it be better to get? And that, but I thought it was a great scene between the two characters because there was mutual respect.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
there was some definite like, yeah, man, like check it.
He offered to give him half the bounty. He said, "No, you're my guest. I can't take that." And he said, "Okay, what if you became a crew member for
Right?
He was a good crew member." And he goes, "No, I don't want to work for. I'm a free man. I don't want to. I want to do things on my own.
Just give me 2 more blurgs.
You don't want to see me when I'm drunk.
Yeah,
hair's all out like this and wearing a Hawaiian shirt. It's crazy." But I did like the respect they had for each other, and and I was kind of hoping he'd say yes.
Sure.
In fact, when they were building it, I said, "Oh, he's going to offer him the job, and they're gonna work together." But no.
I just have to say that, I mean, I don't know where this show's going, if we'll see who we'll see again, if we'll see them again, but I know they're working on a season 2, so you know that some of these characters have got to reappear at some point in time. Like, that can't be the last time we see him.
And because, like I said, he's you like him. I can't pronounce his name. Pronounce his name.
Yeah, I wish he would have said it in the show, so then I don't have to just look at a bunch of vowels. I mean,
I'm sure there's people listening. I'm sure there's people listening that know the name. If you do, put it in the comment section. Say, Matt, you should have known this. You're a Star Wars geek. I don't want to take the blame because
I'm
I have enough trouble pronouncing my own name. So I think
jealous.
And jealous. I knew the name too because they mentioned Nick Nolte mentions it in the show. So I even wrote it down, but I was. I get old and get flustered.
Sure. I forgot to write my name in then. I forgot to sign in, or else I could be chatting with all of the rest of the people.
Yeah, but it was he flies off and they take off and Baby Yoda wakes up.
Yeah.
Now you think he was just slacking? Again, we go back to the whole fixing the ship that Baby Yoda. We didn't see him at one point with his little eye open, going, "I'm still a little tired."
Yeah, like
nobody's changed my diaper in how long?
Right.
This Mando guy's had me for almost 2 or 3 days.
Not provided anything other than blurgs.
Yeah, and a frog, right?
Right. Yeah, I guess the kid's taking care of himself as far as the food, but I'm sure that at some point though, the kid woke up, like did what you said, and they were like vacuuming or something, like something menial.
Because kids always want to help, except when it's something they don't want to do.
Yeah,
I don't want to say anything about Geek's Life Dad if he did that as a kid, but yes, he did that as a kid.
Sure. We've all been
and my grandkids are the same way. Can I help you, Papa? Sure. This is like I don't want to do that. It's like when I put up the Christmas lights. Everybody wants to put them up, but nobody wants to untangle them or see if they're all working.
Yeah, I got a chance to put up some Christmas lights today with my kids. So yeah, it's a pain.
It is a pain.
Fixing the light bulbs too and going through each one.
It was easier in the older days because they were bigger and
everything was universal too.
Right.
I mean, now you get one strand from this company and a strand from there. It's like, forget about it. They're never going to connect again.
And even if you get the fuses, it doesn't work.
How do you know that fuse and how long has it been on the shelf? And you look at it, you're like, is it blown? I can see through it. Does that mean that it's good? Is it blown? Anyway,
it's just, I think they make it just for you to throw it away, to buy new ones.
Mando Calrissian. That's good. Mando Calrissian.
He was on Lost.
Pretty sure.
Yeah, that one I know for
sure. This was a fun episode. Right?
So we've had 2 episodes so far. Would you say the pilot was better, or this one, or did the story? It just did a great job continuing the story.
Yeah, I mean, I'd go with a great job continuing the story, so I'm not let down. And I mean, I thought the first episode, it's your pilot episode,
right?
I almost I almost think that we're going to see that blue guy again, that blue fish dude.
I would think so. Yeah.
You know, like he's going to be released out of that carbonite, and maybe Mando needs a favor or something, and he
Yeah.
You know, it's like gives him the what for, like
maybe he's a snitch.
Right, and they just pull that game over and over again.
Yeah.
So
I could live with that.
Where do you see this baby thing going? Because I mean, you've taken care of kids. Once you're around them long enough, it's
it's like you're obligated.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you're obligated to take care of once they've been, you know, it's like, okay, you bring them home from the hospital. You think, okay, I'll go back. Life goes back to normal. No, it doesn't. No, it never does. I mean, I'm now 57, 10 years older than you. And it's, and you're still dealing with these kids.
Still dealing with it.
Still dealing with these kids, and you got to deal with their grandkids. No, I think the Mandalorian, I think there's a connection there. Like I said, we go back to the pilot where we had his flashback as a childhood, and he's going to do the right thing. Because why would he's going to realize that they're going to do some harm to him,
right? Or
use him for the wrong reasons.
Okay, so what about this? He hands him over so he can get that Beskar. And then he goes back in, and you know,
he's gonna get the payola. He's gonna get his reward.
Right, but then he's gonna do some kind of double cross and get the.
I think he will, and maybe it's one of those characters. Maybe it's the blue fish guy comes into play or something like that. But he's definitely he's gonna do the right thing, but he's also gonna get his.
Yeah, you think? Yeah, okay. That's kind of where I am.
Wouldn't Han Solo do the same thing?
Pretty much, sure.
So I'm sure Mando.
Yeah.
As good friends we can call him that.
Well, okay.
I say it's gonna be something like that.
Have you seen the trailer? Have you seen any of the previews and some of the things that
I have not. I've chosen not to. I've chosen not to watch them.
All right. Well, I won't give it.
No, go ahead. You go and spoil me.
No, I mean, there's. I just know that there's certain characters that we haven't seen yet, based on the toys that are out there, and also
the toys come out before we see the characters.
Well, you know, I mean, of course they do. So, but there's a character called Cara Dune. So, the fact that there's a character named Dune in Star Wars, I'm just ecstatic.
But you said carrot?
Cara Dune.
Oh, carrot. I thought you said carrot. I thought it was like the president was going to be in there or something like
that. No presidents, no carrots, no bunny rabbits.
Orange.
Yeah.
Dean Spano said, Baby Yoda has really tied this into a larger universe in an unexpected, exciting way.
That is true. I wholeheartedly agree. And
I agree, but it's Dean Spanos. So.
Yes, and Lego sets spoil things all the time. I've looked at the Lego set associated with this, and so I'm like, okay, well, when is this going to happen, and how does that tie in? And
is it out already, the Lego set?
There is one for the Mandalorian, which is a chicken walker. If you know what those look like.
No.
Okay. You saw Return of the Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
At one point in time, there's those things with the two walking metal legs and like
okay,
steals one. You know what they are.
Now I know what it is.
I feel like I'm just inducting you like as we go, and this is great because you know.
I like I said, I did some research before we got on here. I wanted to know a little more about what's going on because I truly love this show. Again, it's you know, Luke has always wanted a space western. This is a space western.
Yes, and they're even just what is it? I knew I would blank on this title, so maybe I'll just save it for my own show.
The Child.
No, just there's something else that I wanted to reference or talk about, but I wanted to look it up first. So just save that for my show. So.
I'm laughing at the chat. Dean Spanos, let the hate consume you, Jack.
Well, if you want to,
this is not the football team you're looking for.
Yet the Watchmen research.
Where do you see that?
I don't know.
Is that in the chat?
Yeti, I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, never mind. All right, fair enough.
Oh, I see that.
Yeah.
I rely on Matt to do all the research on the Watchmen.
So it's some big shoes to fill there. So, got any other crazy Hank thoughts or theories about Yoda or moving forward with the story?
Again, I obviously think the Mandalorian is going to, like I said before, he's going to collect his reward, but he's going to, it might be one of those things where he's walking away, and he goes, "I got to do the right thing," and he goes back. Of course, he won't say that. And I did want to say though, because I said this in Europe, your podcast, Mandalorian has no facial expressions,
right?
But yet you can see they do such a great job of knowing his what he's thinking.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't explain it because, that's always been a favorite thing of mine when an actor and actress can make you think or cry or be angry without saying anything. He has no expression other than the shape of his.
No, I had thought about that, especially with that last scene of him saying like, "Oh, and I hope you get a handsome reward, from your bounty," and that's like that sinking in feeling of like, yeah, about that. So
yeah,
so it's you're right, and the way that the mask kind of pulls that off, and at some point we're gonna see him take off the mask, which I think is going to be cool too. So I like the kind of the build up of that. So
Ethan says because they're going to try and dissect the Yoda or something. No way he's going to let that baby be taken.
No,
I agree. I think because I think it'd be disappointing if he just collected the reward and walked away without baby. Because now it's different. Because we now have a connection with Baby Yoda.
Sure,
we love Baby Yoda. So I mean, early on, if they would have got killed early on, being okay, it's a Yoda. I get it, but now it's like you see his face and he has great facial expression. He has a big floppy, big ears and the big sad eyes. I don't want anything to happen to Baby Yoda.
Sure.
I'm looking at you, Mando.
So Dean Spano says Baby Yoda is a female. Crackpot theory. I think that's
I could live with that.
Yeah, I think that's a good guess. Yeah, I wonder if Baby Yoda is a clone, maybe even because I mean this is leftover Imperial tech basically,
right?
And Empire stuff. I mean, what's to say that they didn't have some Emperor's vault with some DNA or something? And okay, Baby Yoda is a host.
Wrong show, but I did laugh. I thought it was funny.
Well,
that's all I got.
Yeah, if you want to check out the Owen and Beru's podcast, we will be talking about this episode come Monday. So, and I hope everybody's on board. From what I know, Chris, Nick, and we'll have a special guest.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be tough to replace the one you had last week. I listened to your show last week, and I was just like, other than Chris being drunk or whatever was going on with Chris, I thought it was an excellent episode.
Well, thank you, and thank you for joining me last week.
Still waiting for that check though. I was promised some cash.
Yeah, you're gonna have to check with J and Jack Productions on that. And in completely unrelated news, that special guest, I won't reveal their name, but they put the sizzle in our show each podcast.
Sizzle in your show.
Yeah, they put the sizzle in the show. Anyway,
I don't know, but I'll put the link in the notes section in the podcast. I'm on this vidcast. It's up now. You can listen to us now. But again, thanks for Matt, future Hall of Fame podcaster, for joining us.
Thanks for
I really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule.
Oh, hey, you know what? Just for you, I'm going to take time out of my busy schedule. We can talk Watchmen tomorrow night.
Sounds good.
Okay.
And you can also hear that on the Jay and Jack Podcast Network, along with Geek Dad's Life. He also joins us on
from time to time.
Not that he does anything, but
he
does hit go. Did he just come in here for one comment and left?
Probably. Brian Etumat. Oh, because I called you Dean Spanos. Well, I don't know. I didn't know if that was like something cute that you guys have together that he just likes to call you Dean Spanos. But thank you for everybody in the chat joining us. So I
really appreciate it. And anyone who listens, tell a friend, share this, subscribe, give us a thumbs up. all that fun stuff. And again, listen to Owen Brews Barbecue, the best name in podcasting history. I'm serious about that. I do love the name.
Sorry, I was reading the chat.
Oh. Anyway, hasta luego and goodbye.
Great kids show thing. One in Asuka. I don't know. What do I say?
Suka, what are you doing here?